So, welcome everyone to this special edition. This is the November edition of the Authors Forum. Like I said, this Authors Forum was firstly inspired by James Clear. I was in IMC International Maswell Conference in Orlando, Florida. James Clear happened to be one of the speakers. And one thing he talked about is he brought together authors like him that they have what we call the authors retreat. They rented the Airbnb and they all get together in the weekend and they were able to learn a lot from one another. So, and when I heard that, I said, wow, this is so beautiful because I always like collaboration. I believe so much in collaboration, and that's why we created the LAM Global Community. And now we have 22 strong leaders that we collaborate together for global projects. And, John Maxwell said something. He said, there's no such thing as a balanced leader, but there's such thing as a balanced team. As a leader, we're not balanced. We have blind sides, and we need other leaders, in our inner circle to complement us. And that's the essence of this Authors Forum. And I always say it, I'm not an expert, and I'm just privileged to have some little insight that I share. And by the grace of God, from next month, we'll be bringing some guests, some authors that are doing good in this field that will be sharing with us uh, in this forum. So we'll be having Dr. Sherry Ann, Dr. Sherry Ann McLean Williams. She'll be with us. She just released a new book called "You Belong in the Room." I happen to be one of the advanced reader of the book, one of the best book I've read about personal leadership. And she's my friend. She's my sister. She's also a new team leader in the LAM Global Community. So she'll be here next week. And also we'll be bringing Dr. Kenisha L. Williams, and that's another one of my friend. And she's my sister also. She lives in California. She's been a school principal, and she's a Maswell leadership team and coach, speaker, and trainer. And she's written a lot of books, and she's doing great. She has so much energy, and she couldn't make it today. She would have been here today, but she likely to be here with us in January next year. Like I said, I'll be bringing people, and I also plan to bring on Dr. Tim Elmo. And talking about Dr. Tim Elmo, Dr. Tim Elmo is such a great leader. When we started this forum, I knew it that whenever you seek to do something, God will bring all the resources that you need. The Master Leadership, they launched a podcast. I'll share with you right now. The podcast that they launched is called The Book in You. So in case you're not aware of this, I want you to be aware of it. They have produced 11 episodes. And I'll just share this with you. This is one of the episodes that they have produced. This is Dr. Tim Elmo. So if you go to your YouTube, you will see what we call the book in you. So when you click the book in you, just write the book in you podcast, Maswell Leadership. You will have access to the 11 podcast. So these are resources that will help you a lot. And this is why we're talking about today. We're focusing on the mentorship advantage in book writing. So that's a form of mentorship. I've learned a lot from Dr. Tim Elmo because Dr. Tim Elmo has written a lot of bestsellers. And what he wish he knew many years ago, and that's what he shares. So it's such a great resource. Like I said, we have 11 episodes. And if you are here, you're not part of our WhatsApp, we have a WhatsApp forum. I'm going to add you to that WhatsApp forum. On that WhatsApp forum, I share that podcast and also other valuable information that will really help you. So like I said, today we're focusing on the mentorship advantage. I just wrote a book on the mentorship advantage. The book is coming out this month. And someone said, you're bringing out books like babies. I say, yes, you're right. Because book writing is like a rabbit. Rabbits produce more babies. Because the thing as an author is that what you don't want to do is to coast. There are 4 zones in life. The first zone is the coasting zone. This is a zone where you do less than what you've always done. That's the coasting zone. I'm sharing about the 4 life zones. The second life zone is the comfort zone. The comfort zone is a zone where you do the same thing that you've always done, nothing new. Nothing new, same old. The third life zone is the challenge zone. The challenge zone is a zone where you do more than what you've always done. This is where you get out of your comfort zone. And the fourth life zone is the creative zone. The creative zone is a zone, it's not about doing, it's not about action, it's not about thought. It's a zone of thought where you think more than what you've always thought. I have a passion for human development. I went to University of Pennsylvania because I want to have a PhD in human development. And when I sit down for their open day, everything seems so theoretical to me. I said, no, this is not what I'm looking for until I discovered the Maswell leadership. And the Maswell leadership is like a university to me. We have the BSc, the bachelor's, we have the master's, and we have the doctorate. The bachelor's is the certification. The mentorship to me is like the master's. And the PhD level is the executive program. And by the grace of God, that's where I'm at now. Why? Because I always like to continue to stretch myself because growth has no finish line. We need to have a growth mindset. We can afford to have a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset asks a question, how long will it take? A growth mindset says, how far can I go? And as leaders, we have to push ourselves out of the comfort zone because, like I said, as long as you remain in the comfort zone, you won't grow. My first book was written when I was in medical school. That was the year 2000. In fact, today is November 6th. My first book came out November 11, 2000. 11/11, that's how I remember it. 11/11, 2000. My second book came out September 2003. And guess what? After those 2 books, I never wrote a book for 20 years. Not 20 months, 20 years. So I know what it is to live in coasting zone or comfort zone. But something happened to me last year that changed my life. I began to learn about discipline. And when I learned about discipline, according to Abraham Lincoln, is choosing what you want most rather than choosing what you want now. And George Washington said, discipline is the soul of an army. It makes small numbers formidable. It gives strength to the weak. It gives success to the weak. It gives esteem to all. Discipline is the key to high self-esteem. So because to reach your potential, the path to potential, to reach your potential, we need discipline and we need commitment. So, and I learned 4 truths about discipline from Dr. John Maswell. These are the 4 truths of discipline. The first truth about discipline is number 1. Discipline comes with a price tag. There's a price tag to discipline. That's why self-discipline is the price tag of leadership. The second truth to discipline is discipline turns talent into greatness. Someone said, hard work will beat talent when talent refuses to work hard. When you are talented, you can end up being the top 20% in your field. But when you add hard work to talent, you end up being the top 2%. But to be the top 1%, you must be ready to do what the 99% are not ready to do. So the third truth about discipline is discipline focuses on choices and not on conditions. And the fourth truth is discipline does not bow down to feelings. Now, when you put all these things together, discipline is what will take you out of your comfort zone. Because there are 4 ways that we learn. The first way that we learn is getting out of our comfort zone by doing work that stretches us. The word work means to produce, to become yourself. So this is what changed my life last year. I turned 50 last year. And I said this year, I don't want to be in my comfort zone anymore. I don't want to be in my coasting zone. I want to write 10 books. That was last year. I set that goal. We need to set goals. And if you want to set goals, this is the kind of goals you need to set. A BHAG goals. A BHAG goals means BHAG. B means bold. H, airy. A, audacious. And G, goal. You need a bold, airy, audacious goal. Airy means the air on your skin will stand up anytime you think about it. Until your dream scares you, it is no longer a dream. Your dream have to scare you because that's why it's called a dream. It is scary. It is scary in the sense that it has to challenge you to become the best version of yourself. That's what happened to me. So I set a BHAG for 10 books last year. I didn't do 10 books. I did 5 last year, but it's better than doing no book for 20 years. And this year, by the grace of God, I've done 4 books. So, like I said, I have 2 books before. So now, my 11th book is coming out this month, and I'm working on the 12th one now. The 11th one is with the editors. It will have come out because there was a survey inside. So I was waiting for people to get survey because I gave an accountability in this group that by this time we meet in this month, the book will be published. And it will have been done. But because there was a survey, I did a survey on chapter 3. So, I was waiting for people to turn their survey in. And I got like 72 surveys from all over the world from professionals that is in that book. I've never done survey before. So, but that become part of the book because it's a mentorship. I want to know what people are thinking about. I want to find out. That was a research. I want to get to the heart of people, and that's component. But it will be out this month. Now, this is where I'm going with this. So, from the book I just came out, I want to share with you the mentorship advantage in book writing. So it's going to be in form of acronym. The acronym is actually in my book. When you know me now, you know my middle name is acronym, and I've been rightly accused as chief acronym specialist. So now, why do we need mentorship? Like I said, when we talk about mentorship, there's something called reverse mentorship. Now, reverse mentorship means you can mentor someone, that person can mentor you. So mentorship is a two-way street. It's a two-way street. There are so many things I didn't know that I need mentorship. I need someone to learn from. So this is why mentorship is so beautiful. Now, today we're looking at how do we leverage the mentorship factor. So what we're going to be looking at is leveraging the mentorship factor for an effective book writing experience. So because it's very important. Last edition, we talk about the accountability partnership factor. In case you miss all this, please go to the my YouTube and just click Dr. Michael Koku. You will see, you'll be able to access all the past edition that we've done. So mentorship is a ripple effect. It's like a domino effect. So it's really much needed in book writing. And these are the mentorship advantage in book writing. So I'll give you the acronym. The acronym is mentorship. Mentorship. So the M is motivation. The M is motivation. A mentor sparks the fire that keeps you going, encourage you to push past writer's block and self-doubt, inspiring you to write with passion and purpose. So if you want to write book, we need mentorship. That's why I'm recommending the Book and You podcast. We need to learn from other people that are writing. We need to know what other people are doing. And like I said, I was able to find a resource when we started this podcast. Like I said, I don't have all the answers. And that's how I saw the Maswell Leadership podcast. They just started. In fact, the guy that is hosting the podcast, Jerry Cargill, I met him one-on-one and in Orlando. And I told him what we're doing. I'll bring him here one day. So we need motivation. That motivation is very essential. And this will keep us going. You can start writing a book and get stuck. But when you have a mentor, someone you listening to, they will share their experiences, what they going through, and you realize that, wow, I'm not the only one going through this. So you'll be inspired by their story, by their experience. There are so many things you can learn from them. So that's the power of motivation. Let's go to the second one, E, expanded perspectives. Expanded perspectives. Mentors broaden your horizons, helping you view your writing through diverse lenses, allowing you to craft richer narratives with depth and empathy. Case in point, Dr. Tim Elmo, what I've learned from that book in York has helped. One of the things that Dr. Tim Elmo shared was he always shared his own stories. From Dr. Tim Elmo, I was able to learn 4 kinds of stories. Listen, I didn't know this before. He said there are 4 kinds of stories. He said, because when you are writing book, you need to pay attention to this. And this is one of the things that they share. You need point for the head. Point for the head. You need to write points like statistics, fact, point for the head. You need pictures for the art. Pictures for the art. Pictures are stories and illustration. And you need practice for the ends. You see the way it does there? Point for the head, pictures for the art, and practice for the hands. Practice is what can people do? This was not something I did. I want to confess to you. When I started writing, like I said, I've written 8 books within 15 months. But as I listened to this mentorship, I was able to take my book to another level. The last book that I wrote, Live Life Big, I was able to put some of those things I'm learning from Dr. Tim Elmo in that. And based on what I'm learning from him, I was able to share stories. So I was able to do point for the head. I always do point for the head now. I'm big about that. But when it's been to talk about pictures, illustrations, wow, it's like cooking a meal. It's like spices. You put different kind of varieties to bring out, the flavor of the food and all that, and then practice. So I started doing what we called self-activity after each chapter. And one of the things I found very unique about that self-activity is, if I actually got a quote on that, and that quote that I got on that self-activity was so inspiring to me. And I will share that quote with you. And one of the things you need to consider in putting to your books, stories, illustration, and quotes. Learn to add quotes to your book. Learn to add quotes to your book. Now, talking about self-activity, that quote talks about one of the criterion of a good book is it inspires self-activity. It makes people to take action. Because your book must carry your big message. Your big message must contain these 4 things. Number 1, what do you want the people to know? Number 2, what do you want the people to see? Number 3, what do you want the people to feel? Number 4, what do you want the people to do? So think about all those things and bring all those things into your book. Ask yourself, what do you want people to know? What do you want the people to see? What do you want the people to feel? And what do you want the people to do? So these are very, very essential components. So now, from Dr. Tim Elmo, I learned about 4 kinds of story. The first kind of story that he mentioned is your own story. Your own story. Your own story is number 1. It's your superpower. Your own story is true. It adds credibility to what you're writing. So the second kind of story that you need is a true and familiar story. That is second level. A true story, but it's familiar. That means when you share the story, people are familiar with it. The third kind of story is a true but unfamiliar story. So that means it's a true story, but not everybody knows it. Maybe it happened in your city that is not really global, it's not well known, it's not like you sharing something that everybody knows about. And the last kind of story is fictional story. A story, it's a fiction, it's not true, but it's a story. It's better than no story. You know, it's like, remember when someone talk about the tortoise and the hare running? Has anybody seen a tortoise and a hare running before? Somebody made that up, but they use it to illustrate a point. So think about adding story to part of your book. So when I learned that from Dr. Tim Elmo, I began to add story. In fact, the books that I just did now, I add a lot of personal stories because there must be a touch of credibility as you making each point. I share a lot of my experience. In fact, the book was dedicated to the Maslow mentorship leaders, and I mentioned all their names, and the book was dedicated to them. Initially, I want to call the book Elizabeth after one of the mentors, but I decided to, dedicate it to all the mentors. I mentioned Dr. John Maswell, McCall. I mentioned Elizabeth McCormick. I mentioned Chris Robinson, Valerie Burton, and Devin Gino, and all that. All of them, their names were there. And when I was talking about mentorship, I was taking each one of them, what I learned from each one of them, highlighting it. So we've talked about mentorship. E, expanded perspective. So the next one is N, networking opportunities. Networking opportunities. Your mentor can connect you with literary agents, publishers, editors, and other writers who can further your book writing journey, unlocking doors that will be difficult to open alone. So that's why one of the things I do, people just ask me, who is your publisher? I refer them to my publisher. Why? Because this publisher, I brought her during the September Authors Forum. For instance, he has worked with Pastor Tony on Pastor Tony's first book, and she did a good job. One thing I like about her, she already had a process. In fact, if you go and listen to September, you will see she highlighted the process of self-publishing. You see, a lot of people, when they talk about self-publishing, they want a big brand to publish their book. But listen, this is one thing I find out. I find that when you self-publish, it is easy for you to get big brand to publish a book. I've seen this work in life of Dave Ramsey. His first book, Financial Peace, if it was self-published, he will put it in his truck, take it around. Anytime he speaks, people get the book. Valerie Burton, her first book, it was self-publishing. It was after she has done a copy. She said this is what she did. She studied the book that was brand published. She saw the pattern. And she was able to come up with something better than that. And because when she now took it to Barnes and Noble, they said, oh, wow. So even yours was better than what we have here. And they gave her an opportunity to do book signing. And that's where she met a big brand publisher. Because most big brand, they want to see what you've done first. So instead of wasting your time and chasing big brand, you can do self-publishing. And that's why in this forum, we have created a system. And I can always refer you to my publisher. Not that she will give me a referral. No. My goal is I want someone that will take care of you and help you through the process, because that's what she did to me. And I was able to do 8 books with her within 15 months. She's someone that can work without pressure. She said, you trouble me. I said, yes, that's a good trouble. I'm troubling her right now because we have a new baby that must come out this month. So you need a publisher like that, someone that can go all the way for you. So let's look at the next mentorship thing is T. T is transfer of wisdom. Transfer of wisdom. Through wisdom transfer, a mentor shares techniques, strategies, and insight gained from their own writing journey, equipping you with the wisdom to enhance your writing process. I remember one of my mentors, Elizabeth McCormick, she came to my city to speak. And after speaking, I sat down with her. That was last year, June. I've never written any book at that. I was working on some books, and I was picking her brain about AI. How can you use AI for book writing? What she shared with me changed my life. A lot of people, they don't know how to use AI. They just like, she taught me out. I mean, it took me to a whole new level. That wisdom transfer has really helped me in book, and I've shared with other people that I've been like doing one-on-one with. The next one is observation laboratory. I'm sharing from my new book. Don't say because I gave it to you that you won't buy the book. You need to buy the book. Otherwise, I'll stop sharing it. Observation laboratory. By observing your mentor's approach to storytelling and book publishing, maybe the process, like I was telling you about Dr. Tim Elmore sharing. If you go to the booking you now, that's the observation laboratory. By observing, just observing how they do stuff, he will share with you all the process. You get a real world example of how success is built, providing a model for you to follow. Because the law of observation says great and good communicators observe great communicators to enhance their communication. And we can also say, aspiring book writers and observe, already established book writers to enhance their book writing. At the moment, I read 10 books every day, and I observe the writing pattern, the style, and I see, okay, what are they doing differently from what I am doing? So we can learn a lot by observation. The next one is our relationship. Relationship. The bond formed with a mentor is built on trust and mutual respect, creating a safe space where you can share your ideas, ask for guidance, and grow into a strong writer. I do this for a lot of people. Yeah, like I said, the main thing I'm someone like I want other people to succeed. I want people to grow and all that. And like I said, this is reverse mentorship, and I learn a lot. Like I talked about Pastor Tony, I'm learning a lot. Pastor Tony has taught me a lot of sense. And I'm glad I met him, when I came to salvation. I learned a lot. And I'm learning. I like to learn from people a lot. So, like I said, the good news about this is, but everything we learn is based on relationship, because what we are learning is as important as who we are learning from. So that's the place of relationship. Then the next one is X, support and guidance. Support and guidance. Writing can feel isolating. Yes, it can feel isolating when you're writing, but a mentor offers unwavering support, guiding you through challenges. So you will get stuck along the way, such as structuring your book, refining your ideas, and handling rejection. So this is one of the beauty of mentorship, that they give us that support and guidance. The next one is Ish, honest feedback. Honest feedback. A good mentor provides constructive criticism, helping you polish your manuscript and push your writing to the next level with valuable feedback. I have some editors that I work with, and one of them right now, I already run the book through him, and he give me his input. He's one of our team leaders. He's very good, very, very good. And the input that they gave it's like he called me lead mentor. But when it comes to that area, I want him to critique what I'm doing, and he gave me his valuable advice. He has written a lot of my book summaries, but that honest feedback is very, very important, that help us to make the adjustment. Then the next one is inspiration. Inspiration. Your mentor inspires you to think bigger, dream bolder, and write with conviction, fueling your creativity and helping you find your unique voice. And somebody that has really helped me in this area is Dr. John Maswell. He has inspired me a lot. And one thing I say about the book written by Dr. John Maswell is his book is really easy to understand. The simplicity that he brings, it takes time to break down those principles. They are not simple to apply, but they are simple to understand. So it's like an inspiration. And also, Valerie is very good. If you read Valerie Botton's book, And there are other good books like that. One of the authors too that really inspired me, I just started reading one of his books, that is Robin Sharma. This book is The Leader Who Had No Title. So he has so many books. He wrote the book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. He wrote a book, Will We Cry? Will We Cry When You Die? Another one, Guy and Greatness Guideline and Post, something like that. Yeah. But it's very good. Robin Sharma, you can check him out. So there are some authors, like I said, when you read books, very inspiring authors, but like I said, the most inspiring authors to me is Dr. John Maxwell, because his book are really easy to understand. One of his books I'm reading right now that is really inspiring to me is How Successful People Lead. Oh, that book is good. It's so good. Oh, I mean, every day I can't wait to get into the book to eat the meat in the it's so it talks about 5 levels of leadership, but the way it breaks it down, oh, because I'm doing a training in Harrisburg University next week. So I'm cooking the food for them. I'm cooking the food, I'm cooking the meal for them. And the good thing about inspiring books, it takes you to a new level of awareness. The last one is P, personal and professional growth. Mentorship helps accelerate both personal and professional growth, transforming not only your writing, but also your approach, your book marketing, readership, engagement, and long-term success. So there's a lot. I'll just stop right here because we want to give room for just some interaction before we go. Because on this forum, we don't just talk about it, we be about it. We challenge one another and we ask one another, what are you working on? Yes, yes. We like to challenge you. So when you come here, we're not just coming to observe. We want you to act. Like Pastor Tony said, he's working on his second book now. I just share with you, one book is coming out this month. It's already finished. It's going through editing. I just started a new book, my 12th book. The title of that one is Leader, Lead Yourself. Understanding the power of personal leadership. I've already created the headline. And one thing I learned from Dr. Tim Elmo is whenever you are writing a book, always create what we call an idea farm. An idea farm. You want to create an idea farm. What does that mean? Create a document that any ideas that come to your mind about that book, dump it, put everything in one document. So it's like a farm. And the good thing about when you put a good idea is a good idea can be upgraded to a great idea. But you have to ink it. Don't think it. Ink it. That means you have to write it. So put it. So I already created an idea farm. So whenever you meet any quote, any illustration, dump it there. Anything related to that book, Coach Remy, any story that you find, oh, this story is something I can use, cut and paste and put it in that document so that you won't be looking for it. So that anytime you want to write, you go to your idea farm, you can take some fruit, some green, some cabbage that you already got. So some vegetables you already have on that farm and put it, that's how you do, that's how it works. So always create an idea farm. So put your quote, illustration, jokes, anything related. In fact, I didn't know about this. I learned it from Dr. Tim Elmo. So this is what we called leveraging the mentorship advantage for an effective book writing experience. So, okay. I just want to get a response. What stood out to you from what you just said? Any volunteer? Let's just have 2 volunteers. What stood out to you? 2 or 3 volunteers. You can unmute yourself and share with us. What stood out to you from what you just heard about this mentorship advantage? Yes, you can unmute yourself. Yes, yeah. And anyone can go first. Yeah, just unmute yourself and
I'll start. I love all of the acronyms, and they're all great, especially the mentorship acronym. I'm trying to understand a word that you're saying, and maybe it's the accent. I think it's code. You said put together your code.
Your code? Quote. Yeah, quotations.
Quotations. Okay.
Yeah, quotation. Yeah.
Great.
Quotes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That helps clarify a lot. Yes.
Yeah.
So put together, yes. But when I wrote a dissertation, my dissertation chair recommended the same thing. He said, as you read through articles and information that you want to include, to put that in a box, actually use a box and put a folder and add all of them, so that, each topic that you want to cover in your dissertation, you have everything that you've read, and that you want to include in that. So I think that's a great idea. And I like the idea about expanding perspectives. And I think that is exactly what these types of forums do, help you to think outside the box and to grow and to be more productive. So that's what I'm hoping for. I have several things that I can think of already that I could start to develop more, because I have not been writing in the last year. But it's time to get back to it, to get out of
and you're right.
posting and comfort zone and challenge myself to do more.
Yeah. And I like what you said about that expanded perspective, because we all have three gaps in life. We have the knowledge gap, we have the perspective gap, and we have the experience gap. So when we come together, we fill out those gaps. So because those gaps are needed to be filled up. That's why no one of us have everything all together. And that's the beauty of coming together, just learning from other people, and just, it takes your good idea to a great idea. I was in a Zoom meeting, and I got one of the inspiration that we have for our LAM Global Community. And it's called Youth Empowerment Society. It came while I was in a Zoom meeting, just came like that, boom. So ideas are very, very valuable. And that's why there are three things essential for transformation in life. Number one, education. Number two, conversation. Number three, observation. So that's another teaching on its own. I don't want to stretch. So any other response, please? Yeah. This is the beauty of learning. So one of the things I want to encourage you is, if you want to write, there's an acronym called WRITE for writers. Maybe I'll talk about that next month. And I already shared it. Because one of the things to do is, when you are writing a book, is you have to read more. You have to grow yourself. The more you grow, your awareness. Let me give you a confession. One of my editors, when I want to send this new book, he said, "I'm sorry, I'm no longer qualified to edit your book. It's above me." For real, true confession. This guy is really good, so detailed. He's been warning me when he saw the trend of my book. He saw my last two books. He was putting a warning, but this one, he put his foot there. Sorry. He didn't call me. He sent a long epistle to me. He said, "Your book is above my." So I have to hire a company to take over the production. So what I'm saying, and the thing is this: the more you grow, the more you learn. There was a time I lied to myself that I can't read and write, and because of that, my growth was stunted. But toward the end of last year, I began to read. I think I started like 2-3 books, but now I'm reading 10 books every day now. I block 2 hours. The primary book I'm reading now is How Successful People Lead. I spent 30 minutes on that. Then I have 9 other books. I just spent 10 minutes on it. You can start with one book, just 10 minutes a day. Then when you become consistent, you can add another book, 10 minutes. This I call it the SOA acronym. It has changed many people's life. In fact, one of the books I'm working on, and I have 3 more books before the end of this year, and it's Unlock Your Infinite Growth Potential. So I'll be sharing the SOA acronym right there, because this acronym has changed people's life. Yeah. So one more volunteer, please. What stood out to you? Because we got 2 more minutes to go now. Ooh, wow.
Okay, if I can quickly.
Yes, Dr. D. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, the acronym really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because for me, it wasn't until I came to do digital entrepreneur that I met a lot of mentors, and I met people who helped me to be able to stretch. And, support and guidance is one area. I challenged the people I mentor at the beginning of the year to write their goals. And because they wrote theirs, I also wrote mine, and we all wrote ours. And like I said, one of those goals I wanted to achieve was to write my book. Yeah. And one of my mentees kept reminding me, "Dr. Onodikwe, have you started? Have you started?" And I didn't want to go back to her to keep saying that. So I just told her, hold on. And then she volunteered that you can just do a voice note and I will type it for you. And that's how I've been able to, within 2 months,
Wow.
write everything that I have. So I just do a voice note. She's in Wales, and when I do the voice note, she types it and sends it. And that helped me be able to move. So the whole acronym, support and guidance.
Yeah.
I was able to get that kind of support, a mentee of mine that helped me to accelerate. So mentorship is very important.
Yeah.
And when you're able to invest in others,
yes,
they also, they feel obliged because they know they can't pay you for all you've done.
Yes.
And, for her, she was very happy to volunteer to do that.
Wow.
So I just say that, it resonates with support and guidance.
And I love what you shared, sir, because this is what we call reverse mentorship. Do you get me? Like, case in point, yesterday, and was it yesterday or 2 days ago? And in the management leadership, there's something called the leadership game. So that's my area. That's where I serve in the management leadership game. So there was someone that need help. He was about to go and do it for a high school student. So I said, okay, I can meet with you on Monday. So guess what? I was hoping to help him. He ended up helping me because tomorrow I'm going to speak to 40 leaders in Quakertown, Pennsylvania. And these are top-notch leaders. So I was thinking about using a different tool because I have a lot of tools. But he said, this is what I want to use, which is communication. I said, I have it. I have not opened it. When I open the box, everything I need is right there. So this is what makes mentorship so beautiful. It is a reverse thing. It's two-way. It's reversible. As you pour into others, you'll be surprised that there's some other thing that they will bring to you. And it makes all the difference. So our time is up now. I want to say thank you for everyone being here today. I want to challenge you to write the date down that you want to finish your book. Without deadline, you can make headline. And without deadline, you are heading for a dead hand. So write a date. I learned something from Pastor Tony. Pastor Tony taught me that until you say when, you've not said anything. So you have to put a when. Not just, most of we're so big about what to write, but you have to put a when. I put a when that before today's meeting, I must finish my book. Guess what? Last week, I was working on it. Wednesday, Thursday, because I know we're going to have a meeting today. So I want to give a book report that the book is done. It is finished. Jesus said it is finished. So it is finished. So the book was finished last day of the month, October 31st. So first day of the month, I reviewed the book and sent it to the editors. So that's why accountability is the key to profitability. So write the date down. I won't ask today. I normally ask. I go around before, but I will ask today. But write the date down and put it before you. Commit yourself. There must be a date. That date. Someone is asking for the name of my publisher. I will send it to you, Prof. Yeah. So write the date down that this is when I want to bring, like I'm telling you right now, I'm giving accountability. I have 3 books I'm working on now. One, I'm going to finish the 3 before the end of this year, but I'll bring only one out. That one will come out and before Christmas. Then the 2 others, it will already be completed this year. I'll bring it out in the first quarter. Yeah. I already announced on the social media that I'm bringing a book out, the new competition that's coming out April. See, that's how you set yourself up. Whenever you make a public commitment, believe me, Sally, something comes alive in you. Oh, it's like you carrying pregnancy. That's how it works. Because there's something called the psychology of laziness. You shut laziness down by action. You have to take action. Just put it down that I want to finish this book, so date. And as you look in that date, it puts a demand on your brain cells. Your brain cells, your mind comes alive. Because listen, life is full of distractions. So when those are coming, because you've made a commitment to finish that book, you will block those time out and do the book. Yeah. So the next meeting, I'll be sharing with you the power of commitment. I share discipline today, but I'll be sharing the power of commitment to reaching your potential. I'll share four kinds of people when it comes to commitment. We'll be looking at that. I want to say thank you so much for every one of you. It's so valuable when we come together to learn. Pastor Tony, thank you so much. Thank you, Coach Remy. Dr. D, thank you so much. Coach Emmanuel, thank you. Coach Sandra, thank you so much. Prof. Nettles, thank you so much. And we're going to see